incredibly intriguing to know that the orgasms that we might be experiencing as general population is just a taste. Um, could you say something more about the dimensions of orgasmic experiencing? And what is possible? Could you give us a sneak peek into what is possible in the orgasming exploration?
So, of course, every couple is going to have their unique energy that they're creating. So they're going to have their unique versions of that energy. So I can mostly explain myself of what I experience when I merge with Nimbus. So it requires within this also a certain understanding of body. We both work really hard to work our mulaband muscle. I have a little toy that helps build my muscle there, and even throughout my meditation or yoga practices or even just regular exercise, I'm often squeezing my Kegel, and he's often using his muscle too. So it is what we call the gate of power. So I'm working my gate of power, he's working his gate of power. And his gate of power is a little different, but his gate of power will help him stop that urge to shoot. So he works his energy, I work my energy and my muscles and my body, so when we do meet, we physically are ready for each other. So there's this physical preparation of being in shape for this experience you're going to create with each other. And then there's also, in the longing, there's the mental preparation of being turned on and can't wait to see this person and be with this person. So that also needs to be present for that ignition to be powerful. And then there's this piece of you have to, and we talk about it in the book, and you have to put your shoes at the door, let's say. We call it leaving your shoes at the door. So essentially, when you do meet with your divine lover, you are leaving all your material worries, all your material work in the world. You're leaving the worldliness, the mundane behind. And so it's like taking off the shoes and entering the temple. And you do have to have this understanding of seeing your partner as a temple and your own body as a temple. And so you arrive, clean and beautiful and prepared and in shape, and you go, now I'm with my love. We are about to merge into the I am bliss consciousness. We are about to merge into the oneness. So I need to drop my worried mind. I need to drop the mundane of the day that I just had, or whatever else. Could be heavy stuff going on, and I really need to, for the moments that I am with my love, drop that, leave that all behind, and allow myself to be totally present in just my love for him and his love for me. So all these things, it is a lot of preparation, and it's really, you have to kind of create the dynamic. You have to create the energy to create that explosion.
Orgasmic, yeah.
So there's a lot of things that need to be brought to the table, but once there, and you can let go into each other, and you see each other as emanations of divine feminine, divine masculine, now we have the foundation to create this dynamic energy. And so in this space, a regular orgasm often becomes more than just that. We call it a supernova. And so for when I get to explode in a supernova, it is a buildup of energies, a lot of energies. So even when we are now physically coming together, we build what we call ecstatic edging. and we take each other to the edge of our orgasms, back and forth, and we play and play. This is the building of the engine, you know, and so we can explode into this space of incredible oneness with all life, with all source. So, yeah, so it requires this ecstatic edging to actually go into these higher states of orgasmic bliss. So we are back and forth taking each other to the edge. And sometimes we will go a whole session just edging, even me too. And then I even am building up till the next time I see him.
Wow.
And so the build-up and the charge is even more powerful. So basically, we really believe that the more that there is a charge there, the more we're going to get to explode into a deeper and more profound experience of orgasm. And that our orgasm takes us deeper into this blissful state, and we can kind of reach higher and higher states of ecstasy this way. And this ecstasy then filters through our cellular makeup and filters into the world we live, and it just bleeds into everything we do.
Wow. In order to maintain this ecstatic edging, it seems like there has to be some incredible form of communication. So I was curious if you could tell us a little bit more about what is the communication like in order to create that incredible dynamic edge experience of lovemaking.
This is a really actually deep and profound place to be, because the most vulnerable place that we can be is literally naked with another being and, you know, merged with them, right? Like, you know, one being has part of their body inside the other, and the other being is, you know, has something inside of them of the other. It doesn't really get more vulnerable than this. So most importantly, that we allow ourselves to speak from freedom and truth, and in absolute openness. Absolute openness. We have to just try to communicate the best we can, from the truth of our deepest needs and our deepest desires. This isn't an easy thing, but if you're really being seen and someone really loves you, we should be able to open our entire being to the other and feel safe. So feeling safe with this other being is going to be a key to having clear communication with one another, having enough openness to be as vulnerable as we ever have been with another human being. All of this is going to play a role in how deep we can go with each other. It's all going to play a role. And the more we are vulnerable, and the more deeply we communicate our truths, and the more free and open we are, the deeper, farther, wider, the more ecstatic experiences we're all going to experience.
Wow, that's really beautiful. I was curious also about this aspect of connection to the source through orgasms can give us a sense of connection to the source. I don't know if all of us actually have an understanding what that means.
So it's that split second when you're totally in the explosion of the orgasm and you kind of feel outside of yourself. I'm trying to take you into a feeling of, even if it's for just a tiny moment, but that all of life just feels kind of splendid, and you feel connected to that splendor, even if it's just for a moment, like this tiny moment. And often in orgasm, even if it's this small moment, you kind of like, oh, I was undone. People use words like that. I felt outside myself. We're touching on small, little aspects of this feeling that I'm talking about and where we can go. So.
And so in your lovemaking, when you're ecstatically edging with your partner, is that sense of connection to that feeling more there? Like it's longer? Is it
times a million? It's
wow.
It's so once I kind of go into a supernova state, there can be periods of 20 minutes to an hour of me. It's like this never-ending kind of reverberating orgasm. That's the best way I can describe it. So that split second that you feel, that when you orgasm, that sense of outside yourself, that sense of bliss, that sense of oneness, that begins to last longer and longer and kind of take you deeper and deeper into this ecstatic place. So an actual physical orgasm is almost like the doorway. It almost opens the doorway to a whole world of almost, we call it time bending, where there's no time and you're kind of lost in the bliss, and the orgasm feels just, it's a doorway into this blissful state.
That's amazing. And so can you tell me, how does it work that on one hand you're in this deep, profound connection with your partner that allows you to communicate about where you are with your body, and you're constantly aware of his body also, and then also at the same time you're connected to the divine sense that takes you over. So I'm curious how one being can be experiencing all of these things, be in connection with the partner, be in a connection with the source suddenly, and also maintain the control of the body to keep edging. I'm curious, how is that achieved?
It's kind of like having your toe in the water and your feet on the ground mostly, but you have like a toe in the water. It's this is hard to put into words, but I think my love describes it well through the writings and the poetry and the books. Let's take it from an athletic point of view. Let's take it from an athlete. Sometimes an athlete, is working so hard, all of a sudden they're kind of in this higher state of being. They know they're running or something. They're on their 5th mile or whatever, but their consciousness is expanded somewhere else, kind of beyond their body. But yet they're still running and they're still doing the race, but they've kind of expanded past the tiredness. They expanded past, feeling their feet are hurting. They've expanded past, they're on their 5th mile. They're more like in this elevated kind of endorphin, dopamine, the chemical release has happened, taking you into the bliss state, and yet your body is still running the mile, the 5th mile or whatever, but you're almost above it. You know what I mean? Your consciousness is above it. Your body's doing it. I love that. That's the best way I can describe it. So your body's in the motion of doing this thing, but your consciousness has expanded above that. The chemical release of all these beautiful things, dopamine, serotonin, all of that is being released, and you're taking each other to these orgasmic places. You're in this blissful state. So your consciousness is in a different place, but your body is still the engine holding you in that consciousness. It's incredible.